the day at the WFDF AOBUC Championship in association with BULA, and it's in the men's division. We are going to have the Singapore men's team playing against the Osaka Kings Japan team. I'm here with Doug today. This is Sophia Pereira coming in, and I am here with Doug Heimberger.
And we are underway. Osaka Kings pulling to start. Weather here has turned rainy. The wind is picking up. A game that really matters. Last game of the bracket play. Last game of pool play, bracket play starting tomorrow, and Singapore off with a very fast start. And a turnover. That's Kashif trying to throw to Jason Lopez.
Fantastic.
And Osaka
fast
Kings
strike.
equally fast, moving the disc around and challenging on the other side of the field. Sophia, this game matters a lot to Osaka Kings.
It does. They've had 2 losses, I believe, in this tournament.
2 losses. Singapore really looking to cement its place at the top of this bracket. Osaka Kings trying to avoid having to play into a play-in for the top 8 tomorrow morning. Obviously, Kings D-line out here looking for a first break of the game. Singapore becoming very tight on defense, forcing a high stall. Richard Veal with the throw for the break.
Fantastic catch. That was amazing. That corner, we've seen some amazing plays in that corner for various reasons, and they managed to break it the first points.
Kings with a statement break to start the game.
And I think this game is more important for the Kings in a way than it is for Singapore, although Singapore only has 1 loss and the Kings have 2 losses.
Exactly. Singapore, 1 loss, pretty much guaranteed a spot in the top 8, not having to play in tomorrow, but obviously looking to cement their place in second, secure a higher standing as we move into bracket play tomorrow. But Kings here looking strong on the first point for a Masters team playing in the Open division against the young team of the Singapore national team. Singapore sending 2 teams, this being their Open team, their men's team, although a number of players on the team of Masters age. And I think we're going to have a very fast, competitive game here in the rain.
It's nice to score the first point in a break. It gives you a lot of confidence, and the conditions have completely changed with this rain. The disc is going to get a bit
Exactly. Ono pulling for Osaka Kings, and well out of bounds.
Yep, I think that disc went for a swim, Doug.
I think that disc almost went for a swim. Now, the brick rule at this tournament is obviously changing an approach to pulling and really forcing teams to think a lot more about keeping it in bounds. The brick is
basically a third of the center field.
Much closer to the center.
That's right, 15 meters.
Now it's coming in. Singapore very quickly using a lot of space on the field with a very deep stack. Really opening up space here. Lopez, one of the older players on the team at 43. His jersey number is his age. Swinging the disc very fast. Singapore looking to be in a 3-handler horizontal rotation here. Kings playing match person defense.
Moving really fast.
Yep.
Nice attempt at defense there.
Agreed. Again, Singapore using the full width of the field here. And very quickly moving to center. You know, very different game than the game you and I commentated on earlier today. Japan national team and Singapore with a statement keep.
Ultimate.
Kashif for the score.
Very nice ultimate.
We have a game here.
We do have a game here. It's really nice to see Osaka putting such great defense pressure as well.
Agreed.
They do not look like a Masters team.
Agreed. I think we're going to see a lot of physical but spirited play in this game.
It's been a physical and spirited tournament.
Indeed.
We were just talking to the spirit director, Travis, who's just here beside us, and he was just telling us how, I mean, the lowest scores are average 10 at the end of second day.
I actually just was looking at the spirit scores for the men's division, and every team in this division with a score of 10 or higher.
Incredible.
And both of these teams in the top half, I believe, of the spirit scores within the men's division.
Incredible, and considering the different cultures and the different nationalities, and sometimes the difficulty in languages and communication, something to be proud of.
Singapore with the pull. Great pull, a lot of hang time there. And Singapore being right on with defense right away, obviously looking to get the break. Umezawa with the disc. Now to Ishino, one of the scoreboard leaders for this team, moving this very quickly, and the score.
Wow.
Very fast. That was Ishino to Yamanoto, the two scoreboard leaders of this team, both with a combination of 10 goals and assists, and now with their 11th.
Pretty incredible. In 4 games?
4 games. You know, both of these teams with some of the deeper rosters of this tournament, too. Osaka bringing 18, Singapore bringing 15. We've seen a lot of teams with relatively light lines. I think not necessarily thinking about what a 4-day beach tournament actually means.
Sometimes not having the option as well.
Sometimes not having the option.
With 11.
Agreed.
A roster of 11.
But having played with 11, I played with 11 2 years ago in France, and it's hard.
It's
and that was
very
a week long.
hard.
But this
you
this
played with
tournament
11
has a lot of
at
games.
the Worlds in France?
We played Mixed Masters, 11 games with 11 people.
Oh, kudos to you,
Singapore
Doug.
again centering it to Lopez. Lopez moving far more youth than his age would suggest.
Definitely.
And again, Singapore opening up the field here, moving very quickly with the score.
Oh. And 2-2.
That was Aaron C. to Felix Toe, and we are at 2s.
2-2.
Again with Kings up that
Exactly
critical
how
break.
you want to end it, with a close game at the end of day 2 of the WFDF Asian Oceanic Beach Ultimate Championships. And this is in order to make this the event that it is, it was opened up also to club teams. So we have a difference here with club teams as well as national teams, which is exactly what we're looking at right here. We have the Osaka club team and the Singapore men's national team.
And Kings actually being a team that had entered initially in the Masters division, in the men's Masters division, but of course there weren't sufficient teams to hold that division. So actually what's fun about the men's division in a team of 11, in a bracket of 11 teams, we've got a combination of Masters, Grandmasters, and men's teams.
That's
Obviously,
right.
none of them having to follow the age bracket requirements
right.
at this time. So
We have
Kings,
3
I know,
divisions at this event. The
Kings, I
mixed-
know, has a few players under the Masters age bracket, but this is an older team overall. And really a team that doesn't play as an open team in Japan much. Generally playing as a Masters team. And again, you can see the Singaporean team not going to let any throw get unmarked on this pitch.
Well, I have to tell you, these guys look really nimble on their feet, especially for a more grass team than a beach team. Look at that. That is so pretty.
Scuba to Umezawa, who throws it just out of reach of Okada. And Singapore with a chance to break back. Again, both teams using the full width of the field, playing very horizontal style offense. Not letting many of the stalls get beyond 2 or 3 here.
Nice playing.
Some very solid reset handler movement there too. And the swing to center. And the break.
And that's making it 3-2 for Singapore.
Nicholas C. with the goal to put Singapore back on serve. Kings obviously starting on defense, did not want to give up that point, as they will now need to get the break to get back and have a chance of winning.
It's early in the game.
Very, very early. And
Very early
this
in the
game
game.
is, I suspect that we're going to see a number of breaks on both sides. The rain coming down, disc is going to start getting slippery. I suspect
Sometimes
we'll start seeing
experience.
some plays, but again, Kings bringing that experience.
That's
You're
right. Sometimes experience makes a big difference. Now we've seen some great ultimate here this weekend, and for those of you who weren't here, the last game that I commentated with Doug, he's the volunteer organizer at this event.
Indeed. And you know what? I'm enjoying coming over here because I get to take the earpiece out of my ear for a couple hours and actually get the chance to just talk ultimate.
And it's such a pleasure to be here with Doug.
It's been a great experience. It's a great experience. You know, having played a number of tournaments on the other side, it's actually great to come and work on the organizing side. Vio with the disc centering back. Umezawa to Ishii. Swinging back to Okada. Back to Ishii. Back to Umezawa. Back to Ozawa.
Tight defense by Singapore.
Singapore forcing towards the water here. And
Oops.
a little bit of contact. Doesn't look like it was intentional.
No. No, as you can see by him immediately apologizing, helping.
Smiles on all sides here. Mizawa picking up the disc. Okada with the around throw back to Mizawa. Looking for the around and just out of the reach of Ishino.
Oh, unfortunate, because that was such great work all the way up. That's one of the most, for me, I find that a very interesting statistic, that throws into the end zone have higher turnover rates than in the field. Just the mental pressure.
Mental pressure, but I always think more importantly, there's just not as much field space to work with.
You're right.
Unless you're willing to move backwards, and a lot of players get that tunnel vision. Singapore just moving the disc all over the field here. Looking for that critical break to go up by 2.
Oh, that was nice.
Nice throw back to center. And a foul.
Somebody's
downfield.
One of the most beautiful things about this game is the way that things are resolved with the players actually officiating their own game.
Indeed. I mean, I'm coordinating scorekeepers on the other side of the field, and one of the things I told them yesterday and today was to not interfere, to not get involved unless the players ask you to. Obviously, they can ask for anyone's opinion, but the 10 people on the field here are going to decide how this game goes. We don't have any game advisors, and Singapore with that critical break to go up 4-2, and 2 breaks in a row here.
2 breaks in a row.
A little bit of a momentum going here for Singapore.
Yep. A bit of an unfortunate turnover that Singapore just didn't forgive and ended up scoring the point. Indeed, for a 2-point lead.
Kings had moved the disc very cleanly down the whole field. Were very patient and just out of reach. So obviously, Kings here looking for this critical keep to stop the momentum.
I'm sure this team has the experience to know that this is very early in the game and there's no reason to put your head down.
No, but Kings is bringing on an entirely fresh line.
They are.
There's often a temptation to play the same line.
It's nice to see a large roster like this. They have opportunities basically to...
Agreed. And you can tell both teams a little bit tired after that point when there were turnovers. Very slow walking the disc to the line.
They have actually a larger roster than Singapore men. Almost twice as large, it looks like, from the sideline showing.
And a pull that looks like it's going to go out of bounds. And Kings wisely choosing to take it at the brick there and take advantage of that. Just beyond the end zone.
That's a large advance with a 15-meter brick.
Singapore put on a lot of pressure on here. Kings lining up more in a vertical stack. And a huck.
Oh, that's going to be
Looks like it's going to be contested and knocked out of bounds. Wei Zhuan Ning from Singapore getting that critical push to send the disc out past the end line.
You know how you often hear catch your Ds? Well, I guess when you smack them out of the field like that.
I can catch your Ds or smack them out and give yourself time to catch the
That's
to go
right.
And get the disc
and
here
then
again.
smartly.
And walking the disc back up. King setting up in more of a zone look here, or at least a bit of a poachy look, perhaps trying to use their experience to narrow down the range. Singapore again
and conserve their energy, I have a feeling as well.
Singapore has just been moving the disc all around the field here.
The tiki-taka play, as I like to call it. Although they gain, every 2 or 3 passes, they gain some yards.
E with the disc. King's in a bit of a loose zone formation. Singapore being very patient here, sending the disc back. E with the disc.
Doing a great job from...
And a beautiful throw for that third break.
Beautiful throw. Nice attempt by the Kings to defend that.
Nicholas C with the assist. And Singapore moving out to a 5-2 lead.
Yeah, running away with it.
Still early, though. I mean, the Kings have
early.
shown that they've got the ability to take advantage of any holes in that Singapore defense.
That's right.
Singapore really looking to use their speed. And obviously, this is a team that we got to watch yesterday on the live stream. unfortunately defeat one of the Japan Grandmasters teams 13-0.
That's right.
In a game where they showed that they could bring the pressure for the entire game, and it looks like they're going to do that here as well.
And I'm sure they want to rank the highest possible within their bracket to then have the easiest crossover tomorrow. So they're going to play the most intense, best beach ultimate that they can play.
Kings bringing out their offensive line from 2 points ago. Looks like they got a rest, bringing back their, I think what is their A offensive line here. And Singapore with the Blady pull. Looks like that one's going to stay
want to make sure that
inbound.
it's non-catchable. It's actually easily catchable by this more experienced team.
Umezawa with the disc.
You can hear the support on the sideline.
And a
for
huck.
defense. Can
it be caught for the score?
What a beautiful throw.
Ozawa with the catch right in stride. Well out of reach of the Singaporean defense.
Amazing timing, amazing execution, amazing spin on the disc and float on the disc. The wind is basically died down. We see by the flags that are almost not moving. That was a beautiful throw.
And really a critical score for Kings there to stop that momentum that Singapore was starting to build. Get their D-line back out there. Try and get some excitement going. And
let's see if they can make this break. That would be exciting. Do you have a favorite, Doug, for the weekend?
For the weekend? Wow.
Oh,
I thought you were talking about for the game.
Tournament. Oh, the game.
I won't share for the game. For the tournament, I mean, I think having watched a bunch of games, Ono with the pull, floaty.
Let's see if they can get this back.
Inbounds. I would say the Filipino teams are going to be hard to beat. Practicing on the beach every day. Just the degree to which they float on the beach is just amazing. But you can see in the Singaporeans here, a team that's also just floating on the beach.
And India.
Very fast moving. And the Indian teams as well.
Nice
Lopez with a solid dump back to Lopez. And the IO flick to Cash for the score and the keep.
Beautiful IO flick.
Taking advantage of what we see a lot from the Japanese teams is the use of that inside space, using the break side, and Singapore with a bit of a statement back there, taking us to 6-3.
Just a quick response. As soon as you have that open, it's no deterrent where he is. If it's on the open side, on the closed side, that IO flick, just amazing, finds his receiver bang on. Impossible to defend.
Yeah, and Singapore obviously looking now for another defensive break, which would take this game to halftime. I think one thing you can see right now is actually the difference of potentially having a coach. You know, very few of the teams at this tournament have a coach, but you can see that the Singaporean team does. And the visibility and just awareness that comes from having a non-player watching and helping cannot be understated at a tournament like this.
It makes a big difference.
Kings, with a bit of a miscommunication there. Shot down the sideline.
I mean, we're seeing it less and less, but the sand is relentless. And
a shot intended for Yoshinori, one of their top scorers. Now Singapore with the disc again, something we're seeing a lot of. He with this solid forward throw, and that is going to be half.
That is half, 7-3.
I have to say, Kings.
So we're basically at halftime. In Beach Ultimate, the game doesn't stop, unlike in grass, and so it will just mirror the first points.
And we have to say a very fast halftime. We're only about 18 minutes into this game, and we're already at 7-3.
Wow.
But we're at halftime, so that means we need to do some call-outs.
Yeah, let's do some call-outs.
And we'll start with WFDF, supporting and promoting the global advancement of disc sports and spirit of the game.
And VC, outfitting the world's best ultimate players since 1998.
And Discraft, the world leader in disc sports.
Friction gloves, be prepared for rain, humidity, cold, wind, and more.
And when you're playing on grass, Ultimate Point cleats, specifically designed for the great sport of Ultimate.
And as we see here with some of the as we have seen here throughout the tournament with the overthrows, up is actually, the universe point cleats is actually not a bad thing to think about when you do go hit the pitch from the beach.
You know, I will say in my first beach tournament, I wore shoes, and I realized so quickly how much of a mistake that was. And that was a long time ago, and something I don't want to remember.
Good thing you didn't turn your ankles. Greatest bag, the #1 bag designed by and for Ultimate players. Eric, fighting cancer through early recognition.
And let's remember BULA, promoting the spirit and the sport of beach ultimate worldwide.
Thank you.
And we're into the second half. Umezawa with the disc. Singapore, for the first time, setting up in what looks like a little bit of a zone. Perhaps coming out trying to do something a little different here.
Well, perhaps
pretty loose zone.
Yeah, perhaps this is the time to experiment when you're up by 4 points, but I don't think that this team is going to...
Kings is going to be a team that's going to let you do this kind of a zone.
Nope.
Although now the zone climbed in a little bit and forcing a crossfield. Great grab there by Ozawa.
Very nice.
Could have easily gone over the top. And
again, an unintentional foul called. So these hand signals are really significant, both for us as commentators, as well as the fans watching and the teammates.
Something that Japan's actually taken really to heart. I would say that 2 years ago, you go to a Japan game and a stall-out call on the field. We'll see what the reaction is to that. But again, hand signals make it very easy to see.
Yep. He just put his hands on his head and tapped his head. That's a stall-out call. That means that more than 10 seconds, according to the marker, more than 10 seconds were taken to get the disc off. So he called a stall. It would be a turnover if it is not contested.
Lim calling the stall out on Ozawa, and you see some of the spirit captains from the team, Ono and Cash, coming in perhaps to help translate. One of the challenges in a game like this, you have a lot of players on the Japanese team that don't speak any English. And the rules now giving the teams about 45 seconds to resolve a play like this, but 60 seconds if translators are involved. A recent change that I think is going to improve how these kind of calls are resolved. Give the teams a little bit more time, because obviously communication in a situation like this just not being as fast.
Extremely important, especially in international events.
And it looks like it's a contested stall, so the disc is going to come back in at 8, so it's going to be stalling 9-10. Ozawa with a quick chance to get the disc off, and with a bladey throw, and the catch over the top.
That was fantastic.
Making an amazing result out of a difficult situation. Yamamoto, the scoring leader from Osaka Kings.
Catching that disc.
12 on the scoreboard for him this weekend now with that catch. And Kings making it 7-4.
Yep.
And with a critical
that was
coming
a
out of half.
critical point. 4-7 now. With Kings going in on defense. What a fantastic catch. He just trusted his receiver there. He didn't even look. He just put it up there and thought, well, it's going to be stalled 8 and they're going to call me out. Boom.
And you don't have time. You just got to throw. And it clearly looked for the most open person, which worked out in this situation.
And ended up being in the end zone. Good for
Ono
him.
with a very floaty pull, landing about the front of the end zone here. And again, the degree to which Singapore using players like Cash there, and a very quick score.
Oh, that was unfortunate.
From Cash to Felix Toe, a very, very quick score.
Very quick score. And from here, it looks like the position of the defense was fantastic. He just didn't look back at the. Looks like he could have just smacked the disc.
I hate to say it, it feels like the volume at this field just went down a couple of decibels.
It does feel like it went down a couple of decibels.
Let's hope the Kings can come out here.
It's the last round of the day.
I think everybody's a little wet.
9 rounds today of games.
Yeah, I thought yesterday was long with 6 rounds. 9 rounds is a bit of a haul for everybody here. Players, staff. Most teams playing 3 games today. Only a few teams getting lucky and playing 2. And tomorrow another long day with another 9 rounds, and most divisions resolving all the way to finals by the end of tomorrow. So tomorrow's going to be a very exciting day of Ultimate. Singapore coming down in a little bit of a zone look again. Didn't work for them last time.
They're doing a better job this time, though. They seem to be making a bit of a...
Kings, again, just moving the disc pretty well within what the zone is giving them. We saw last time with Singapore really trapping when it gets here to the line, but Kings very effectively moving, and Ishino, that's number 12 for him with the score.
What a beautiful throw. So 12 and 12, we have the two top scorers.
Well, I think that was Yamanoto with 13 now because he threw the assist.
In
so
4 games.
Kings top players racking up the goals and assists in this game. But a very critical keep for them. And
Yeah, that was an important point.
Let's now see if their defense can come out.
And a fantastic point. Great look.
We really need to see Kings now bring a defense that's a little more effective than it was in the last point against Singapore.
It does seem like the decibels went down. I wonder, did they lose some sideline support from their colleagues?
Again, this game pretty early, still 8-5. A lot of time for Kings to come back if they can get it moving again. And
nice patience.
Toe with the swing. Again, Kings being a little... Singapore showing that you can move the disc backwards to maintain possession. Open up that field a little bit. Being very safe, centering to Lopez.
They're very quick.
Literally Singapore just moving the disc horizontally on the field right now.
Yeah, for me, I mean, he caught the disc, did a couple steps, and then a little jump. Do you think there's a little bit of traveling going on here from Singapore point of view? It's hard to tell, but
Singapore with the score.
It's not being called, so...
Not being called.
It's not being called.
Lopez to Demetrius Tan for the score.
That's a 9-5.
That's 9-5.
Starting to get tough to dig yourself out of in this soft sand, I would say.
It is, but I'd love to see Kings make this into a bit more of a game here, so let's see if they can keep.
Doesn't mean it can't happen.
I think it's hard to call travels on beach when a team's moving like that. It's hard enough to call it on grass when a team's moving with those kind of throws.
Well, I actually not sure how much I agree with that. On beach, it is on the ground. You can actually see where you stepped your foot. And it does make a huge difference to where you can put the disc. Sometimes even 10 centimeters where you can actually put the disc. So I think travels on beach are actually a significant call.
I agree, it's significant. I think it can be harder to see when the feet are planting into the ground, but agree, it should be harder to tell. Easier to tell if you actually make the call, but King's not making any so far. Singapore coming out with that zone again. It hasn't worked for them in the last couple of points. Whoa.
Oh. Nice playing by the Kings. Doug, they're doing a great job.
Yeah, Kings showing, and again, it looks like Singapore now flipping to a man defense about half field, person defense, and clamping down a little bit more. You can see the pace of the Kings offense really slowing down. Dump to Ishino.
Adjusting to the new defensive tactics by the
Umezawa.
Team Singapore. What a beautiful
throw. And that nice
throw.
IO again.
They have, looks like they have all the time in the world to just pass the disc between them.
with the around throw and to the keep on the break side.
That paid off.
Ozawa to Yoshinori Hitomi for the goal.
6-9.
Kings bring it to 6-9, but Kings are going to need to start showing the defensive pressure and converting to get some breaks here.
Nice to see patience paying off on that offensive
Agreed.
line. They can throw and throw and throw and swing it and dump it and
Singapore showing the benefits of having practiced in terms of being able to bring a zone out, flip it to person defense halfway down the field without losing a beat.
And I have no doubt that Singapore gets much more chance to play on sand.
I played pickup in
Osaka.
I played pickup in Singapore. They've got great beach training and pickup every Saturday. Artificial beach, but a really thriving beach community in Singapore. Singapore going for the deep shot successfully, not quite in. And the dish.
Good job containing the disc by Osaka.
Singapore being very patient here. Lopez to Cash. Two of the mainstays of this O-line. Back to Lopez. And Lopez with the lady swing for the goal.
Those are just impossible to defend. Straight into the hands of the receiver for a 10-6.
Felix Toe for the goal.
Amazing. Last round of the day here.
It feels like the rain's starting to slow down a little bit, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Almost feels like
it actually
we might get a
feels
sunset.
like it's cooled beautiful Shirahama down a little bit. It feels good. Very good. This is such a beautiful place. It's population here is 20,000 of local people that live here. It's a beautiful, beautiful seaside town with amazing food, amazing restaurants. We've had some incredible meals. I had one of the most incredible meals with you. It was an honor.
It was a fantastic
2 days ago.
with the mayor.
With the mayor.
The mayor of Shirahama speaking excellent English.
Speaking excellent
Giving a
English.
rousing speech at the opening ceremony. And Singapore showing again the zone.
See if they can do this and bring it up to 10-7, and then again opens up the possibility of the game being anybody's game.
Ozawa.
Nice playing by Osaka.
Ozawa
Beautiful playing.
Really playing all over the field here.
All over.
With the hammer for the score.
7-10. Back in the game.
Back in the game.
Back
Never
in the
out of the game.
Never out of the game. We might be here for a while. It's a good thing.
But again, Singapore getting the goals up on the scoreboard. With the game to 13, there's not that many more opportunities.
So, Doug, for the people that are listening into this game, they would never know by your perfect American accent, considering you are American, that you've had plenty of opportunity to play in Japan. You started playing in Japan.
I started playing in Japan 12 years ago. I know that I'm able to use the names of a lot of the players on the Kings team here because I've either played against them or with them at various tournaments around Asia over the years.
So you developed most of your disc skills here.
Yes.
Fantastic.
In a very different environment to the U.S., or so I've been told, a much more technical environment, much more reliant on quality of throws and catches and using all the space on the field. And I think something we're seeing in play here from both teams, actually.
Yes, we are. Definitely. Oh, that was wonderful.
Not in called, but the dish
Nice
for the
little
score.
layup for the score. Pretty. 11-7.
Felix Toe with the assist. Aaron C. with the goal. 11-7. Kings are both going to need to
keep their heads up.
Keep their heads up, get the goal here, and then they're going to need to really show the ability to make Singapore turn the disc. Singapore has not turned over the disc much in this game. They have not given Kings many chances to score, and Kings have not forced the turns.
No.
And in a clean game like this, Kings need to show that they're going to be able to get the disc to have the chance to get the break.
But kudos to King as a master club team with this score against the national team.
Again, the speed of this game versus the Grandmasters game yesterday against Beers, the difference in the game cannot be overstated. Singapore with the unfortunate out-of-bounds pull is going to bring the disc in much closer to midfield. We'll see if Singapore sets up with the zone here again or if they're going to try something different.
Be nice to see King score. Oh, it seems like the energy on the sidelines has gone up.
John, the sideline's definitely gone up. I hear some of the Japanese players noting to be careful and watch for the double team by Singapore, but Singapore setting up in a person match defense from the beginning this time. Ishino with the disc. To Umezawa with the throw forward to Ishino for the goal. Kings with the very fast
8-11.
And for a game that has 19 points scored, we are only 33 minutes into the game. So there have been some very, very fast points here if you think of teams using the 45 seconds to put in the goal.
Very quick points.
Most points being scored in 30 seconds. Very few turnovers. And unfortunately, Singapore has made Kings pay for the few turnovers that they had all early in the game. It's been mainly trading points since halftime. I'm pretty sure it's been since halftime we've just been trading.
If not before. You're right.
So Kings needing to put some defensive pressure on here and really change the momentum of this game. Ono with the pull. Again, high and floaty and landing inbounds. Singapore with the same O-line on. Both teams with very consistent O-lines.
See if Kings can get the break
Toe
here.
to Kashif. Jason Lopez streaking downfield, opening up space. And the throw to Kashif for the goal.
That is
It is going to be hard to beat an offense that is
so
that clean.
hard to defend.
Using the whole field, just moving the disc ferociously. And I have to say, watching this, Singapore is going to be a team to watch tomorrow as we go into quarters and semis. They're showing the speed, and I think, you know, we watched the Japanese men's team today play the Philippines and lose 13-7. I think one of the things we're talking about with that team was just how they haven't practiced that much, and it's the middle of grass season. We saw some uncharacteristic throws out the end zone and things. It'll be very interesting to see them matching up with these teams that have honestly put a lot of time in preparing for this tournament. I know Singapore's been practicing weekly, did a whole selections process. There are a lot of teams contending for the gold tomorrow.
And like the Philippines, they have the opportunity to practice all year round together, or mostly together as a team.
E with the pull, going out of bounds again, giving Kings the chance to take it almost at midfield.
Last chance for the Kings to score.
Indeed. And obviously Singapore here looking for the break to finish this game and send us off to trading night.
Which has been moved into the hotel, from what I understand, because of the rain.
Trading night has indeed been moved into the hotel, and I am told that there are free chu-hais, which I'm sure that everyone is looking forward to, because nothing says Frisbee like sugary alcoholic drinks.
Oh, nice pass. That Ayo is just amazing.
With playing person defense. But Kings quickly moving the disc to the goal line. And with the cheeky score.
They did it exactly what we wanted them to do.
Yamamoto with the assist.
We were hoping for that break. We don't want to go home yet.
Yamamoto with the assist, Ozawa with the goal. It's 12-9. Time for Kings to break or go home.
Let's root for them to break.
And Kings taking one of those all-important strategic timeouts.
Now that's experience, waiting until moment at the end of the game to call the timeout.
And waiting for a fair bit of the time between points to elapse too. So you see Kings here polling the team. I wonder if they're polling for who feels ready, or if they're polling on what type of defense to put out there. I've never actually seen a team in a timeout
put hands up like that. We did it at Europeans last month. We had something interesting in the media. We had the, we could actually put a camera with a microphone when people were discussing, even on calls in the field, so you could actually listen to what was going on.
Now, I think you'd love to hear the audio there, but I'm not sure you'd understand anything that was being said in that timeout.
Probably not. We'd need you, who speaks perfect Japanese.
I speak nothing like perfect Japanese.
You speak perfect Japanese. I was so impressed.
But Kings bringing out a mix here now. We've got Ishino from their offensive line.
I think they're really hoping
from their defensive line. Definitely bringing out a kill line here.
They're really hoping for the break, and then to be able to put on really strong O.
It looks like Singapore bringing out their standard offense. Yep, their standard offensive line.
Yeah.
That offensive line has a lot of experience. I've played with or against a lot of those players for many, many years. Not the youthest of teams, but definitely showing the ability to move the disc around the field this game.
We've been seeing that all game. It's very impressive. This team is very impressive.
And again, Kings coming out with a person
nice defense.
Match defense right off the gate, keeping Singapore, but Singapore very quickly moving the disc to midfield. Fast dump to Lopez and the huck for the game. Is this going to be the game? It is the game.
It is the game.
Felix Toe with the goal.
13-9.
Unfortunately, an attempt to get the disc jumped a little bit too early on the behalf of Kings to get that D.
Now, I have
right
no
over
doubt
the defensive
that
player,
the Kings,
and our game is over.
Our game is over, but within the next 2 days, the Kings can be very proud of themselves to have a 13-9, 9-13 score against the national team from Singapore. This was an impressive game, very exciting game. Thank you so much.
Super impressive game. And we got 8 more games tomorrow on the live stream, so tune back in tomorrow morning, fresh and early at 8:30 Japan time. I think we've got pre-quarters or quarters first game.
Be interesting to see how crossovers work out for the Kings, because there are some games tied for...
Yeah, it's not going to be crossovers, but we'll see whether they will have to play pre-quarters. So
no, the pre-quarters. I'm sorry, I meant pre-quarters, because there's, I think...
There's 11 teams in this bracket, and
3 were tied for with 3 losses, which now the Kings will also be tied for 3 losses. So keep in touch. See you tomorrow. Thanks, Doug. It was great.
It was great. Let's go to trading night.
Let's go to trading night. Bye, everybody. Sophia here.
Doug here. Bye now.
Bye.